Good morning, or probably afternoon, because this always goes live at like 6 p.m. But we are at the yard, so we are just going to turn Dublin out. But I wanted to basically talk to you about kind of like hacks, but mainly money saving hacks, because it is the kind of questions I get asked most, like where do I get so-and-so from that's cheaper, and you know, things like that. Because for those that haven't been here long, I was a mobile dog groomer that worked for myself, and then I took a job working for Green Mile Bedding. So I very much now work within like the 9 to 5 hours. My boss is really good. I can be a bit flexible, like I can come in, bring her in at lunchtime in the summer and things like that. And if I've got things going on like the farrier, I can shoot up to bring her in and then like go back home, and the farrier is quite good at doing her on his own. But it's very much 9 to 5, and everyone was like, oh, how did you do the change, the shift and stuff? So I wanted to share that. I am not here to tell you, oh, pre-make your hay nets in the weekend so it's easier for the week. Everyone kind of knows that. It's now becoming quite a popular thing to do. It makes the most sense. I do pre-make my supplements. So I do put all of Dublin's feed supplements into the little tubs, so that I am only opening one tub in the dark and not 5 or 6 of the supplement ones. But actually it's the kind of other stuff that doesn't get spoken about so much. Plus we are going to talk about where you can get like serious equestrian hauls for so much cheaper. So let me get her out, because I need her for the first 2 tips. So Dublin goes to bed in her magnetic Premier Equine wraps. They stop with the swelling. The magnets are just really, really good for her. But during the day, she goes out in her Equistreams. But before we put these on, the best tip I have is baby oil. So because it is so muddy and vile, I squirt a little bit of baby oil into my hands and I cover her legs. Cover everywhere. The legs, the tail, the face, the mane, you know, just smother. Well, you know, within reason. Because then your mud doesn't stick and they stay so much cleaner, because when you go to brush them, it just glides off. And then her wraps can go on. Easy. I mean, I have done this particular hack for a number of years, because I mean, the daylight hours are next to none. So if you have only got, I don't know, half an hour to ride, the last thing you want to be doing is trying to brush off caked on mud. It's just, no one's got time for that. The horses don't want it, like it can hurt them. So a little bit of baby oil. You don't need to do it every day. Just sort of top it up when you feel like it needs a bit more. But it's just, I love it. And they do look quite shiny in the fields. Okay, so she is all oiled up like The Rock going into a movie. But the next tip I wanted to show you, Dubs, out of the way, darling, let's show them, is this. Dublin lives with a sheet under her turnout rugs. You can get these quite cheap. They are thin cotton sheets. They're not adding to the temperature really. They're not doing anything like that. But because getting turnout rugs cleaned and washed is so expensive, it just means that, you know, I've got 2 or 3 of these. Those go home and they fit in my washing machine. Now I know there's a lot of people that probably aren't allowed to wash horsey stuff at home, but even if you get that sneaky chance when your parents or your partner's gone out, it is so easy to put in the machine and it dries really quickly. So it just then means the underside of your turnout rugs aren't going all white and scurfy and horrible, because there's nothing worse than not being able to get that scurf off, because even if you try and wash it by hand, they take so long to dry. So it's just one of the best things. I mean, I mainly do it for her allergies because I can keep them washed. But I know a few people that just do it because actually it does keep their turnout rugs so much cleaner. They're not having to do like a midwinter wash. You can just keep that rug going all winter, wash it in the summer, ready for next year. The horses aren't being cleaned and then putting filthy rugs back on. You're not going to rub out as much mane. Now, ultimately, actually, I find, or I believe, and I've found in the past, that manes actually only really fall out when they're not getting the oxygen. So if you do have a mane that is constantly falling out, you do need to do your best to allow the mane to breathe. So when she had a mane, and she would be out in neck rugs, I would, on the warmer nights, slightly warmer nights, leave her with her neck down, or I would at least give her a couple of hours without the neck cover on, just to get oxygen to that mane. But having sheets underneath your turnout rugs will make a massive difference, and it will help. So yeah, just helps keep them a bit cleaner, makes your rugs not, you know, get as trashed. I don't know if I can show you the underside of mine. I've had this rug on her since beginning of October, and that is the right underside of it. It literally is. It looks like it's not touched a horse, because ultimately it hasn't. So it's just going to stay so much cleaner and be so much easier to manage throughout the winter. You know, you do want to make sure that you've got large enough tail flaps, because obviously you don't want that getting wet and soaking up. So if I've got a rug with not a very good tail flap that she's wearing, like one of her 100 rugs, then she's just got like a full body suit that I can pop on her, and she can wear that instead in the field. It's a water resistant one, so if it goes over her face, it's not going to cause a problem. But yeah, anyway, what you're really here for, dancers like wants to go out. What you guys are really here for though is the money saving hacks. So let's get double and turn out, get home and get cozy, and then we'll go through that. Okay, we are home, we are cozy, we have our tea, and I just wanted to basically run through how we can potentially try and save some money. Now, I know the best way to save money is to not spend any money, but that just doesn't work with horses. It doesn't. I always think that the summer's more expensive in terms of products and show entries and things like that. The winter, I bulk buy my hay and things like that to make it easier. But then what I do actually do is I will make use of Black Friday sales, January sales, Christmas lists, you know, presents and stuff like that. But there is always something that needs to be paid for. So it's just about doing it the cheapest way you possibly can. So yeah, the baby aisle has so much stuff. Starting with, I just get baby shampoo. Baby shampoo is pH neutral, so it's not going to affect the animals. It's the same as horse shampoos, but also I find it leaves quite a nice shine, and you can get like a bottle for £1 sometimes, all the way up to like £3 depending on the size. The little ones you can get for like £1. The ones I buy are like £2.50, £2.60 or something like that. Just tend to grab any of them. They're absolutely fine. They work the same. They're brilliant. Save you lots of money for just some basic shampoo. The baby aisle is also where I get my baby oils from. So again, they come in lots of different size bottles, different prices, but I don't think I've ever paid over £3 for a bottle of baby oil. Legs, it can be used for hot clothing. So a little squirt in with some hot water, and you can actually then use the B&M microfiber cloths or their sponges, which are so mega cheap, to just hot rag and get them clean, all the oils and everything, just make the coat, like moisturise it, make them all shiny, classic hot oiling. I have nice hot oils as it were, but then I also just have baby oil. The talc compounder, believe it or not, is actually a really good fly repellent. So just your average sort of like days when they're out in the fields, like 24/7 in the summer or however you keep them, the sprays are great, but they are expensive. So sometimes baby powder is just the right answer. Dublin does look a little bit like a zebra once I've kind of puffed, because that's a good thing, you can like squeeze the bottle and it puffs out. But yeah, once I've puffed it all over her, she looks a bit ridiculous, but we're not going anywhere, or she's just staying out. It's a great alternative to just using the expensive sprays. Also with Dublin's allergies, she can't have a lot of the strong fly repellents. I end up being like restricted to the citronella only ones, which are fine, but they are not that great. So that with the talcum powder, we have it perfected. And then nappies and baby wipes. They come in packs, so like bigger packs, 5 packs and what have you. The baby wipes, of course, are just fantastic for everything. Cleaning your boots, cleaning snotty noses, cleaning your own hands at shows. They're great on the yard for just cleaning your hands. Run it over your bridle. Like literally everything. Baby wipes, removing eye boogers, they're just fantastic. I have baby wipes everywhere, and I just buy the big multi-packs from B&M, and they last us forever. The nappies, I feel so weird buying nappies because A, I don't have a child, and B, I don't actually want children, but I will always buy just a pack of like 5 or so nappies. They are such a great alternative to like poulticing pads. Not only do they have their own sticky, so you can literally dunk the nappy in the salt water or whatever it is you're using to poultice, place it over the hoof, and then put the straps around, which means that is held in place while you then fondle and get your duct tape and everything else. So nappies are a godsend, and they are the cheapest alternative you can to getting the pads. The pads are so expensive, it's like £5 for 1 pad, whereas you can spend £5 and get 5 nappies. No brainer. Another great item for hot clothing is actually Dettol, the non chemical based Dettol. It just leaves a really nice shine. It's kind of like naturally antibacterial, so it's really, really good. I actually pop it in cold water if I'm just like sponging off a girth and things like that. It's just great, and you can get it mega cheap. Okay, dish brushes. I can't even tell you the use for these. I actually couldn't find on the day the ones I normally buy that are 50p, but I've just sort of popped in a picture of these ones that are similar, so you know what to look out for. I use these for scrubbing hooves inside and out, to scrubbing poo off of like fillet strings on rugs or on belly straps. I use them for everything that needs, like cleaning your buckets. I've got a clean one like for cleaning buckets, it's by my stable, and then I've got one in the wash bay for rugs and hooves and stuff like that, but it's the one I've got's 50p. It's just fantastic. Okay, hear me out. These wood silk sprays are phenomenal shine sprays. So you don't need a lot. They're quite like waxy based, but they're non-silicone, so they're great for the horses. Spray literally over, brush it in, amazing, and they are like literally less than £1.50. They are fantastic. Scissors. We are always losing scissors, so why buy expensive ones when you can get a pack of 3 for £3? That's literally £1 per scissor. No brainer again. Storage now. So I use like the plastic pasta tubs or whatever they call them, like these, for supplements. They ultimately are kind of rat proof on our yard. Our feed room leaks a little bit, so it keeps them dry. The packets are very beautiful that they come in, but they just, I can't do it with the wet. So I use these, but you can use them for all sorts. Organising plaiting bands, organising all sorts of different things, and they're just so cheap and they have so many different uses. So if you're looking for storage tubs for things like that, B&M is your place to go. Now, the other storage solutions are like the art trolleys, the shoe racks. So I have this art trolley in my wash bay. It's where I keep all of my shampoos and everything like that. It is a bit more expensive, it's £20, but it's just an alternative that is cheaper than most of the other alternatives. If you want even cheaper, you can get the shoe rack shelves, and I think they're like £6, and you can get some slightly bigger ones for £10, but they just make great little shelving solutions for grooming kits, tack rooms, wash bays, literally anything. The last thing I want to talk about is do not be shy of secondhand. I recently have found a really beautiful show cane on Facebook Marketplace, or as I call it, FaceBay. But things like Vinted and the Equipped app, I've done a lot on Vinted recently. I'm gonna have to remove the app, it's slightly addictive. But I found, I don't know if any of you saw the video before where I got a full body suit for Dublin from Ruggles for £30 because it was like a shop spoiled one. I got another one for £30, including the delivery, in black, no ears, tail bag, just what I wanted, and the size up which I wanted, because I think the one I got was slightly too small. £30. And when I got it, I opened it, it hadn't even ever come out of the bag. It was still folded in that special shop way that just meant that it never come out of the bag. I've also found saddle pads on there for like a tenner, including the delivery. And then actually I've bought quite a lot of things for me. I quite like to ride in like cable nets and things like that. I'm not keen on horsey base layers and horsey clothing as such, but I do like a classic cable knit. And I found some like Jack Wills, Super Dry and Ralph Lauren cable knits for less than £15. Like, no brainer. I have some burgundy trousers on their way in my size. Perfect, because my ones just keep falling down. I've found jumpers. I've found like, there's like everything on there. Literally go into Vinted. Vinted will also start to learn what it is that you like, so you can like search in the top for things that you think you want, and then Vinted will actually kind of like learn what you like, and it will show you then things it thinks you want, which is where it gets addictive, because then I end up buying things that ultimately I probably didn't need, but are I like them and they're cheap. It's just so much cheaper, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do, is just get everything that we want, get everything that's nice and that we need, but just save some money. So very short and sweet, but I think we've pretty much covered. Ultimately, it was just ways to save some money. People have been asking me about all my B&M purchases and where I get them all cheaper, so I thought I would share. I'm not here to tell you that bulk making hay nets is going to save you time. We know that, you know, we know all that. There's all these tips for breaking ice or not having ice troughs freeze. I've never found one that worked, so I'm not going to sit here and try and give you tips on things that have just never worked for me. So that is it. That is all I have to offer, but I hope it helps even a little bit. But I'd be interested to know, like, in the comments what you buy from B&M, because if I'm missing out on something, I need to know about it. So yeah, okay, thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.